the next presentation for the afternoon, Hacking a Bird in the Sky, Hijacking VSAT Connections. Allow me first to introduce both our speakers for this afternoon. First of all, let me start with Mr. Geovedi, the gentleman in black. It is not an auction. However, maybe later. Jim is an information security consultant at Veloa Asia Pacific, where his work in penetration testing allows him to focus on attack as well as defense. He has performed extensive research on network and host mapping, intrusion detection and prevention systems, wireless hotspot security and operating system hardening. Jim was an active contributor in the development of FreeBSD and OpenBSD operating systems. He loves exploring computer systems in unusual ways. Jim has been an invited speaker on several conferences worldwide, such as Veloa Cybersecurity Asia, Cisco Security Summit, IT Underground, and of course, Hack in the Box, as well as university and government symposiums. He has been quoted in numerous national publications, including Jakarta Post, Kompas, Wall Street Journal, New Straits Times, and Detik iNet. Encik Raditya Iryandi, the gentleman in beige, has been a technology junkie since he was a teenager. He loves dealing with telecommunication systems such as satellite, Wi-Fi, and modern freaking. Recently, he joined Veloa Asia Pacific as an information security consultant. And prior to joining Veloa, he was technical director at C2 Pro Consulting. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming both our gentlemen this afternoon.
Give us applause. Thank you for showing up. People on the back, please join us in the front. Few seats left. Okay, thanks for the introduction, Amy. My name is Geovedi, Raditya, Iryandi. We work for Malaysia Pacific. First of all, classic disclaimer. Okay, this presentation is intended to demonstrate the inherent security design and configuration flow in publicly accessible satellite communication networks and promote the use of several satellite communication systems. Viewers, readers are responsible for their own action and strongly encouraged to behave themselves. Don't be a jerk. Okay, first I'm going to start with the definition of satellite. Satellite is basically any object that revolves around the planet in a circular or elliptical path. All the masses are the part of the solar system, including the Earth, are satellites either of the Sun or satellite of those objects such as the Moon. The Moon is the Earth natural satellites. There are also many man-made, we call it artificial satellites, and usually closer to the Earth. It was English science fiction writer Arthur C. Clarke who first conceived a possibility the artificial communication using satellite in 1945. Then we have the first artificial satellite launched by Soviet Union on 4 October 1957, which called Sputnik 1. Satellite is nothing new. They've been orbiting for nearly half a century since Soviet launched their first satellite. And as you can see, the picture on the bottom is a Sputnik 1. Sputnik is a good example just how simple satellite can be. It carries like only thermometer, battery, radio transmitter, and nitrogen gas for pressurize the interior of the satellite. Then we have another typical of artificial satellite, which not massively produced. Most of them are custom built for to perform their intended function. Exception is GPS and Iridium. For like GPS, that is at least like 20 copies, and Iridium satellites which offer 60 copies in the orbit. First, we have astronomical satellites to be used for observation of distant planets, galaxies, and the other outer space objects. We have reconnaissance satellites intended for non-military use, like for environment monitoring, meteorology, map making, etc. We have also navigation satellites, GPS, decided. Killer satellites, anti-satellite weapons designed to destroy enemy satellites, the other orbital weapons and targets. Some of them has planned to implant like laser technology to attack another satellite or maybe another target in the Earth. Then the solar power satellites, space station, weather satellites, and bio satellites. How satellites is launched into the orbit? Well, all satellites today get into the orbit by riding a rocket or riding a cargo bay of the space shuttle. Several countries and business have rocket launch capabilities, and satellites as large as several tons make it safely into orbit to ascend regular basis. For most satellite launch, the scheduled launch rocket is aimed straight up at first. This gets the rocket through the thickest part to the atmosphere most quickly, and the best minimized for fuel consumption. And after the rocket launched straight up, the rocket control mechanism uses the inertial guidance system to calculate necessary adjustment to the rocket's nozzle to tilt the rocket, and of course described in the flight plan. In most cases, the flight plan calls the rocket headed to east because the Earth rotates to the east. And once the rocket reaches the thin air, it's about like 120 miles. The rocket's navigation system will fire small rockets just enough to turn the vehicle into horizontal position. Then satellites is released. At that point, rockets are fired again to ensure some separation between the launch vehicle and the satellite itself. The use of satellite we cover in this talk is satellite for internet service. Not so long ago, satellites were really exotic, top secret device. They were used primarily in military capacity for activities such as navigation, espionage. Nowadays, they are essential part in our daily life. We see and recognize their use in the weather report, television transmission, or like everyday phone call. In many other instances, satellites play a background role that escape our notice. Like some newspaper and magazine are more timely because they transmit their text and image to multiple printing sites via satellite to speed up distribution, or maybe before sending signal down to the wire to our house. Cable television really depends on the satellite to distribute its transmission. Many other things, GPS, emergency radio beacons to from downed aircraft and distress ship for search and rescue, even it's a situation like natural disaster. And we have like internet also, for example, like SCPC and DVB-IP. There are three types of satellite internet service. One is one-way multicast. It's used for IP multicast-based data, audio, and video distribution. There's a one-way with the terrestrial return and two-way satellite access. Example of one-way multicast setup can give is some of illegal ISP and cyber cafes somewhere out of Jakarta, Indonesia, because the internet connectivity there is quite expensive. You're not talking about $2,000 for how many? How about the fattest link you get in Europe, Fabrice? For broadband home, 20 megabit?
24 megabits.
24 megabit. How much you paid for that?
That's 30 euros.
Okay. How much we pay for internet connection for 2 megabit? $6,000 per month. Okay. So it's not fair, I know. some people are making money on it. And as a workaround, some people, well, to be admitted, including us, try to find a workaround to get the free internet access using satellite. And it's mainly to reduce operational costs. And we use downlink only internet and use the other already established connection through ISP as an uplink. And actually, Indonesian government already have like radio frequency spectrum and class 1 satellite orbit monitoring commission under Ministry Communication and Information that regularly monitor the usage of signaling frequency. But since the area of work is quite large, we're talking about 5 big islands in Indonesia and other thousands of small islands. So sometimes they miss their so many targets, not to mention the bureaucracy and the possibility of corruption. Of course. One copy, isn't it? Then this is VSAT, very small aperture terminal. By definition, is a two-way satellite ground station with a dish antenna that is smaller than 3 meters. Most of our VSAT system now based in IP, and yeah, many VSATs now being used for interactive and transactional application. Because you are talking about point of sales application, flight ticket, hotel reservation. You are talking about some banks. We found that using VSAT for their ATM transaction as well. This is the network diagram commonly used for satellite connectivity. There's a head office, there's a branch A, branch B. Some of them using frame relay, then continue with the satellite is using satellite and shared connection to every branch. And now we're talking about the satellite anatomy. We're talking about the bird. This is the bird, the attack target. It's also known as a transponder. It has altitude control for spinning the satellite to keep it stable, and then it's also the body part. Is the bus of the satellite holds all the equipment and other necessary components. As there is a communication part that satellite needs have some means of communication with the Earth. Like it needs to receive instruction and transmit information it collects, or it may relay information sent to another site on the Earth. And we have a grapple fixture launched for launching and retrieving satellite. We have internal computer, or some people call it TTNC, which is like a telemetry, tracking and control device. It's for automated communication process and to find out where the satellite is in the space. Then also the control for internal control of its system. Then it has also power source to this kind of device need electricity. And some possible power source can be used through solar panels, batteries, or even nuclear power or heat generator. Then we have control center. Many people work there and they're controlling the satellites every day. This is another tracking, telemetry and command station. Now we are talking about the topologies of VSAT, very small aperture terminal. It has just like ordinary local area network. We know like star topology, or in wireless we have like mesh topology, and the combination of both. This is quite similar with the wireless network that we already know. And usually the operator of satellite have the area of work or the area which the surface covered. And to be here, we call it footprint. But Raul told me something. It's not footprint. What is it? It's the target. Raul, what's the other name of the satellite footprint? Okay. This coverage or beam. And the footprint map usually show either the estimated minimal satellite disk and the diameter and the signal strength on each area measured in the dB watt. For example, here it has like 60 centimeter, 80, 100, and 120. There are some people that actually publishing the list of satellites that's surfing in the sky in internet. We call it satellite tracker. We get this from sitecodex4.com. It covers Southeast Asia, Australia, China, Japan, Korea, as you know, AsiaSat. There's a Telkom one, Thaicom, AsiaSat. There are many. We're gonna take a look on the website later on. And this is Indonesian satellite Palapa C2. In 1975 or 76, Indonesia became the third nation in the world operating domestic satellite communication system using GSO satellites, which was Palapa A system, and now the latest generation is Palapa C2. The owner is PT Satelindo. It's mainly used for TV program distribution and data transmission as well. And we have Telkom, owned by PT Telekomunikasi Indonesia, as the Palapa B2R service will end in 2000 or 1999. So Telkom formed a team to study the technical and business aspect for a new satellite generation. This study came up with the suggestion that Telkom should expand the satellite capacity and to fulfill the very high potential demand for cellular trunking at the time, and also to serve VSAT for internet use. Therefore, Telkom 1 satellite, as the new generation satellite was designed as for multi-carrier use. So the capacity can double compared to the previous Palapa B2R for a low-bit VSAT. This is a Telkom 2 with same coverage, but stays in the different orbit. It was to replace Palapa B2, and again Telkom is again improving the earlier generation of satellite coverage, and same with the Telkom 1, but the bird more east by 10 degrees. Then we come to interesting stuff. Attacks against satellite system. I just found a nice document wrote by William L. Spacey. He was a student from a School of Advanced Air Power Studies at University of Maxwell, Alabama, and his paper title was "Does the United States Need Space-Based Weapon?" And he quoted the General Joseph Elsie. It says like, it's politically sensitive, it's going to happen. Some people don't want to hear this, and it's sure it isn't in vogue, but absolutely we're going to fight in space. They are afraid for something, for some reason, yeah. And we're going to fight from space, and we're going to fight into space. Then I discover Dan Tineman was give a speech at DEFCON 4. It was in 1996, if I remember correctly. It's trying to explain the hypothetical attack against the satellite system. Some of it still works. Some of the technique, kind of obsolete, because satellites are not invulnerable, while some skeptical about the vulnerabilities. they are raise some question because our data, whether it's a phone conversation, internet traffic, that's including your day-to-day activity in using internet. This also covers for flight reservation, even banking transaction are carried with the satellites, often without encryption. Our point is like, while satellite communication systems have made enormous advance in capability and performance, security hasn't kept pace and leaves some, if not all, satellite systems vulnerable in the sky. And we're gonna start with hypothetical attack, means that this attack is based on hypothesis, may easy to be done, maybe not. And it's worth of nothing as the most likely the cause of damage or to lose of service from a satellite is the actual operator. For instance, the AMSSC partially damages the onboard AMSC-1 after launch and by inadvertently overloading one of the onboard amplifier. First, denial of service attack. We have jam uplink and downlink. Downlink is a signal from satellite to the ground station, and the uplink is a signal from ground station to the satellite. We have white noise at frequency. To illustrate about whiteness, the adjective white is used to describe this kind of noise because the way white light works. You know, white light is like the light is made up with all different colors, frequency, and the light combined together. You can use a prism or a rainbow spread like white thread to back to its component. In the same way, white noise attack is use the combination of all different frequency, and you can start thinking like combining white noise of frequency for 2,000 tones playing in or delivered or transmitted at the same time. In the new generation of satellite, there is an instrument called wave filter. Wave filter is an instrument that clarifies a signal by filtering out all power noise, and it's useful for receiving communication in deep space where there are no stellar phenomena that emit frequencies too. This extra frequency become part of the white noise always present in the space. Then we have overpower uplink. Imagines that is a saturation of the power that's sent to the satellite. Big power sends will create a mess for another clients. And all of a sudden, those clients will not synchronously mode for temporary. But 2 weeks ago, I get informed by Cedric Glanzer. He says that the new generation of satellite has a capability to hibernate, something like hibernate, and go to a position where it's like default position. So it's not going to distract or crash another satellite nearby. And the threat of deliberate uplink jamming is considered as a federal crime in US, even though they are the first country in this world that introduced this attack. Like today's mystery in the sky is not even difficult to range. Any competent 10th grade science students know how to jam a radio signal by creating a new signal in the same frequency. The same thing also published in the FRAC edition 61 or 61 for GPS jamming. And if your signal power strength is stronger than the original, you have overpowered the transmission. Then again, United States gave this lesson to the world publicly with their jamming of the Radio Martini in Havana, Cuba. All is done from a long distance, as they say in the advertising. Reach out and touch someone. You don't have to be there, do it remotely, that's it. And Russian also do the same thing routinely in Moscow with the Voice of America. We have another attack for orbital positioning attack. If you have many ground stations, imagine you have like 5 or more pointed or specified satellites, then send queries of tones or telecommand viewing, the satellite transponder may get incorrect orbit information. Attitude control of the satellite will adjust to the new orbit coordinate, and of course all the clients already connected will get disconnected right away. And in theory of worst scenario related to the satellite, if 2 satellites collide, it will like create a mass of jumps that will hit another satellites. It's like momentum of movement. And in our orbit, we know there are many satellites, and what if all those satellites suddenly stop serving? There will be no TV, no radio, no data communication. And this one also more advanced, but requires like control. This kind of attack can be done in the satellite command center. All you need to do is like to crack the encryption used by protecting the control, transmitting control of the satellites. We also know as a telecommand. It's to refer a set of command generated to the on satellite and executed on the transponder. Then we have insertion after confirmation, but prior to execution, same stuff. But most likely the new kind of satellite already know this kind of attack, and they have like some workaround on it. Now, the practical attacks against the satellite system. As I said, my previous slides before this was hypothetical. It may be easy to be done, it may be difficult. Now, enough about that. We continue with the more practical way. Raditya will explain furthermore about the practical attacks by showing some stuff, hopefully interesting. And please.
Okay, there are some example practical attacks that we have discovered before. The first is about DVB IP over satellite platform. We are begin with profiling, of course, just like a usual hacking method. We tried looking for the information about our target. Yes, of course, internet can provide almost everything we need to start. And let me show setcodex.com. Yes, you can find all the information here. This is contain all the information.
As you can see, you can get a list of satellites surveying. Like, where are you right now? You want to know, you are in Asia right now, you might choose the sat codec 4.
And yes, and the green one is showing about frequency allocated for the data. Over there we can find the information of the frequency. V is mean vertical is about the polarization, and this is the data. And of course we get SR. SR is symbol rate, and filter B. I think it's enough for start. Okay, thank you. Pretty much information provided, and I think it's more than enough to start. And then I will show a video.
I know the video is not cool, especially for you, but if we carry all our equipment down here, your government gonna stop us right away in the airport. What's wrong? Gee. Somebody hacked my laptop.
We use a 2.4 meters antenna, and we use also 1.8. We got a signal problem with wall for there. Yes, this is we try to pointing to the target. And for the VVIP hacking, we don't really need high equipment. We can using ordinary TV satellite antenna, and this is a feed horn. We put LNE or NB here. Coba lihat dari spektrum yang ada. This is a computer as a client. We're using a DVB-IP PCI card. It's about $300 US. Yeah, this is a ComStream standard 701 modem C-band. We're using this stuff to hacking STPC and get internet connection for free. We get it from a second hand around $3,000 US each. And we communicate with the serial cable to the modem. And what else? Yeah, this is a spectrum analyzer to analyze a carrier in the transponder. And this is our workshop room. This is audio outdoor unit for transmitting the signal. We have more than one audio, and some of them are still in progress, being repaired by our friend. This is Cordon Audio 21. I think it's enough there for jamming and get a connection STPC.
It's more like Al-Qaeda lab. Yeah.
This is an inclinometer, but this is a digital one. We have a two kind of inclinometer. This is a digital one to find out
Exact
elevation of the antenna, and this one is the manual one. This is
spectrum
this is spectrum analyzer.
used to analyze this frequency we receive.
Yeah. After we pointing the antenna to our target, we have deal with Linux driver. You can use it anyway, other operating system, OpenBSD or whatever, as long as have a driver supported by this device. The first thing, I'm using Red Hat Linux here.
That's right.
It's called ABA daemon, daemon to communicate driver with the operating system. The default part in US server called bin AB2030. And this is a current zero. Current zero is default configuration. We can find all the configuration there by browsing to set codecs before. And the first thing is we just put any IP address and hardware address or MAC address just using default, and just put one PID. And we try to kill every single change we made in the current zero. We should restart the daemon. Okay, we try to monitor carrier data on the log, signal on the log with vertical polarization. What else? SNR. SNR is important thing. We only got 4, but actually you should got 5, 6, 7 or more to get the best signal. After that, we try to scan with PAU1. Okay, we found 1, 2, 3.
SNR is signal to noise ratio.
Yeah. Okay.
Some carriers found.
After that,
Trying to impersonate the satellite as the other client.
Okay, we change the PID with okay, we use the last one. We try to using one by one brute force. Oh yeah, this box have a three interface. The first interface is DVB IP. The second interface is Ethernet to the uplink, and the last one is go to the LAN for testing. Okay, we try to down the traffic. We got nothing, but we still can use that PID. But the first thing is we try to looking for first the IP address. So we just try the other PID.
PID is the process ID used for satellite program.
In the TV satellite is two PID. One PID for video and the other one is for audio. For the internet is only one for the internet. Okay. Actually, hacking DVB IP not really difficult. I'm using very common Linux command line like a pico if config TCP dump. I think everybody here can do it. Well, depend on you, dare to do that or have a time or not. Okay, we got it.
We can say
This is only a very simple TCP dump command, so you can modify.
Somebody who was really nervous on the TV, on the camera, and the type TCP dump without expression.
Because
pipe and direct.
Okay, we got it.
Well, we don't really look much on the data captured. Just don't care about it. We don't. The point is like we show that we have ability to know what's the other client's IP connection.
Okay, we try to hoist, but it failed. But it's okay. We already know the IP address 20x117 something. Okay, and then after we got IP address, we try to using available PID. We already got it. Try to using the first one with the M2 TCP dump. You remember? Now we use it. Okay, we got nothing here. Okay, the next step is we try to looking for the MAC address that we are able to use, because DVB carrier is like transmit very high, very big frequency and separated by PID and MAC address by each single client. So we need to know first MAC address for that PID.
The logic is like you can use the same MAC address and you get different IP address.
Right. Okay,
So
we got
stuff.
and we change the PID. MAC address. Yeah, we can define in the config as well. Actually, I'm using broad logic. Before using broad logic, I'm using SkyStream and Pentanet, but you can play with the hardware as well.
The advantage of using broad logic is like you can change your MAC address, you can play with the driver, it's really supported well in Linux.
Of course, yeah. You can modify the scanner to working well in this device. Okay. Okay, after that, configure the IP address we already got. Okay, I put the wrong comment there.
So it's not fake, eh?
Okay, and we try to pick with I options. to define source address, for example, your.com.
You got reply.
And of course,
We are connected.
and with Cipidang, you can also get traffic as well. Okay, to prove that it's working, we try to net with simple IP tables command to net a source address to the specify public IP address. Yeah, we net 10.10.10.0.1. In my laptop, I'm using 10.10.10.3. The default gateway is 10.10.10.5. Okay, we try to ping
Just works.
Yahoo.com. It's work. We try to monitor by TCP down, okay? Try to browse to the internet. We only get a capture of traffic there, but the packet is not completely received. Because the signal is very low. We have a signal problem with the wall. That's why we're using a big antenna. But let's try the other website. Yes. You only got SMR about 4. So by 7, I think it's better. Okay, we try to open google.com. Work.
Just work.
Try to ping. Yes, work.
That's it. So, okay, that's some part of the demo. I don't know. Now we going back to the slides. Okay, I'm gonna open up with the discussion with Mr. Garrison there and Mr. Head. As I would like to say, this is just the beginning. We are not talking about how to secure satellite communication system or whatsoever.
Maybe next year.
But maybe next year. Maybe next year. But most of the practical to explain it, but right, it's merely happened because it was just badly configured. And another thing is like, is there an attack against satellite? Yes, but we keep it for now. Maybe we're gonna talk about it next year. It's related to SCPC, hijacking, and taking over the client's control or something like that. And some of you might think that hacking satellites is that easy. Why hasn't it done for before? Well, actually it has, but it's just not well as publicized like any ordinary internet attacks because it's not well as many people understood it. And the target, most of target, usually the commercial satellites rather than the military. And of course, the attacker or those hackers tend to go for the easiest and the cheapest way into data. And unfortunately, satellite is not at the top of the list. As we actually know this trick for about 4 or maybe 5 years ago, but I think it's about the time for us now to make it public, so people getting aware about the satellite and stuff. And we also believe that there are many people out there who conduct similar research, maybe more advanced, and most of them usually keep it secretly for ages. And if there's any of you that would like to share your experience, would you like grab the microphone later on and give a comment? And some people ask me about the law issue. Before this talk, we gave a speech at Belua Cybersecurity in Jakarta 2 weeks ago, and the Indonesian law enforcement agency have been told, and they are aware of this issue. And well, actually, we are not the lawyer, even though some of us already spent some of time in the court, and not me. You? Oh, okay. But currently there is no specific law that cover hacking of a satellite in Indonesia. And if you're talking about international law, it's kind of difficult. I mean, like there's a law that control the operation of satellites, the military use, but according to our director of professional service, he says that not of those laws are actually implemented, meaning that the US satellites can be like somewhere in the Sarawak or somewhere in Jakarta without no one realized. And other practical attacks against satellite system maybe was the defacement of the Hezbollah leader on TV. I think it was covered in it was covered in the ZoneH.org news, and it's not added. Well, until today, I'm not really sure whether the attack was actually involving the interception or maybe just compromising the server that contains that video. We don't know. Maybe Fabio or Roberto have an update for this news. Can give a comment. Okay, that's for now. Any question? Is there any jokes? Okay, there's no joke. Thank you for coming up. We love to have you guys here, and hopefully see you again next year.